And it was never...
We have people in the command center right now.
Mr. Mayor, there have also been reports of large loss of life among the police and firemen who were sent there to rescue people. How accurate are those reports?
There is no question that we lost police officers and firefighters, and some that I know personally, and all of us here know personally, that we're very worried about. And we're not going to know the answer to that until much later. And maybe we should just close now and give you a briefing later. And I would just ask everyone, I talked to Cardinal Egan before, because he's at St. Vincent's Hospital. Everybody should in their own way say a prayer and ask God for help and for assistance, and also ask God to give us the strength to overcome this, because I know we're going to need strength to overcome it. And I want the people of New York to be an example to the rest of the country and the rest of the world that terrorism can't stop us. American democracy is much stronger than vicious, cowardly terrorists, and we're going to overcome this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, Mayor.
Along with the mayor, the governor, along with the mayor, speaking for the first time together since this horrific tragedy that began at 9 a.m., both imploring us to remain calm in the city and both saying that the city is now safe. The mayor just said the National Guard has been called out just to help with the relief effort, not because they fear more problems will arise.
A key thing that Mayor Giuliani said there, with a catch in his voice and some obvious perspiration on his brow, is that the people of New York are much stronger than barbaric terrorists. He spent a lot of this time at that news conference reassuring New Yorkers that, first of all, they're stronger than this, and commending them for the effort made to help each other in this unparalleled tragedy in U.S. history.
The governor went on to say that everything that can be done to provide for the safety of New Yorkers has been done. So once again, they both implore us to understand that the city is safe now. We understand public transportation is still moving along. The subways are open, buses are running. Parents, if you're concerned about your children, the mayor was saying that they're going to take them to a certain spot that you will find out about if you're not there to pick up your child in time. Is that right?
Right. Michael O'Looney will be filling us in on that shortly. But again, the main emphasis here is from the mayor and the governor is that the city is secure. It's under control. The National Guard was deployed earlier today. The mayor stressing the National Guard is there for a relief effort, saying the city is secure right now. New York City police are out in force. What we need to stress here, though, obviously, is that this is about people. It is about the loss of life, and there is much more on that to come. The mayor declining to speculate on how many lives may have been lost. Something just into CBS 2 here. There is a report into our newsroom that 25 high-ranking Port Authority police were seen walking in to Tower 1 just before the collapse this morning. Again, many more of these stories will come out. Confirmed dead, we do not have numbers at this point. There are estimates, as you can see on your screen now, that the 2 impacts by aircraft into the towers, as well as the collapse following that of both towers, may lead to thousands and thousands of dead.
Let's go down to Rose Wallia. She's standing by live at Bellevue Hospital. Rose, what can you tell us?
Well, here are the latest numbers. Right now, we're told by officials that 400-plus patients have been brought to Bellevue Hospital. Hundreds more at St. Vincent's and 150 at Bellevue Hospital, 2 DOAs there at Bellevue, and 22 of those 150 are in critical condition. Also, a great need for blood at Bellevue Hospital, and what makes the situation even more critical is they're out of donor bags. And they want the public to know, if you are coming out to give blood, what they need the most right now is type O blood, and you must have a donor card to actually give blood. A lot of people have been turned away here today because they did not have donor cards. Also, hospitals right now are getting together teams of social workers and psychiatrists. A lot of families who don't know where their loved ones are, very concerned, have come here, hysterical, crying, very emotional. So there are teams of social workers and psychiatrists here trying to deal with that, and also just some of the victims who have been hurt with minor injuries have come here to New York Medical Center and are being treated by social workers and psychiatrists as well. And we're told a lot of these doctors and nurses here at NYU Medical Center are actually being shuttled to the scene where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of more victims that need help and can't get it here at the hospital, so they're being treated at the scene. That's it from here. We're live at NYU Medical Center. Rose Wally, CBS 2. Back to you.
All right, Rose, thank you. And New Yorkers, your fellow New Yorkers need your help desperately. We need you to donate blood. I have the names and addresses of 3 sites where you can do that. The first one is the New York Blood Center, which is at 310 East 67th Street. 310 East 67th Street. The second is the City Corps Center at 153 East 53rd Street. Again, 153 East 53rd Street. And the next one is the New York Blood Services at 150 Amsterdam. 150 Amsterdam. Please, please go donate blood. I believe what they need a lot of is O negative, I believe.
All right, and one note before we go to our next report. All U.S. air service, all air traffic in the United States will be shut down until at least noon tomorrow. Again, no flights the rest of this day. No flights scheduled until at least noon tomorrow. Of course, we'll update you on that. That is from the Federal Aviation Administration. Let's go to David Diaz, who is near the West Side Highway, just near Chambers Street, I believe. David.
All right, we're here on the West Side Highway, just a couple of blocks north of Chambers Street, less than a half a mile from where the World Trade Towers used to be. That's very hard for me to say, but in fact that's the case. And it is in fact a parking lot now of fire department vehicles, police from New Jersey, Westchester, and so on, ambulances from throughout the tri-state region, all of this waiting to go into action, relieve other crews. Now, we did get an interview earlier with a man who was at ground zero when the planes hit those towers.
Great. There was an explosion. We were on the support floor, which is a basement. Guy came in running. All his skin was out of his body.
Oh my God.
All his skin was out of his body. We took him out. We ran out. We heard a lot of rumbling. I went back in. There was a lot of smoke. We went up by the stairs with the Port Authority police to start rescuing people. A lot of people were coming out. But there was a lot of people that stayed there. We brought a lot of people on wheelchairs and a lot of people on gurneys, all people that couldn't make it because there was no elevator service. The elevator went out. While we were there, we heard an explosion, and it was on the radio. We were told that it was the 65th floor collapse. So at that moment, we couldn't continue going up. As it is, when I came out, there were still firemen there before the building collapsed. There were people on the 34th floor, on the 36th floor, 37th floor, and 39th floor. And we're talking about 30 firemen.
That were up on those floors?
That were on those floors.
When it collapsed?
When it collapsed. So I don't know what happens to them. I know the officer that was helping me. We don't know what happened to him. This officer Lim from the Port Authority Police. We have no contact with him. I've been looking for him. While we came out on the floor, on the lobby, there were still people on the floor, dead on the floor. There was a person encrusted on the floor. That's how big the impact was. As soon as we came out, we heard that the building was falling. We started running. We went inside, right under the fire trucks because there was nowhere to go. Me and another 3 firemen, we went in under one of the fire trucks, and everything fell on top of it. So we almost get crushed over there. We were taken out of the truck.
Well, tell me a little bit about the emotional impact that this has had on you, witnessing what you did.
I was on when the bombing happened years ago, and this is the worst I ever seen. Doesn't compare at all. We're talking about the worst thing I ever seen in my life. Nothing compares to it. And when I look up and I see that the building is gone, it's just like I'm totally in shock. There's no way to describe it. And the kind of people that probably still up there, was still up there, it just kills me because I know they couldn't make it. I worked the whole tower from the 107th floor all the way down, and I know they couldn't make it.
Okay, now let me give you an update on the situation as it stands. You see that big high-rise residential tower there? It has been evacuated. There are reported to be gas problems there. In the background, you see the smoke still billowing from the collapsed towers. And in fact, one of the people there, several people there, told me they actually saw the planes hitting the towers and seeing the towers ultimately collapse. One of the women there, a resident, tearfully telling me she has to leave New York. She just can't take it anymore. She saw what happened in 1993 when that bombing took place. Now, my colleague, Paul Floranges, just came back from the area very close to that. We understand that one of the other buildings, Paul, is actually also burning, and there's difficulty putting it out.
Well, David, what we were told by rescue workers down there is that number 7 World Trade, which is probably right through where you and I are standing, that's the building that's burning. And we were told that they can't put the fire out, and there's a fear that 7 World Trade is going to collapse as well. No one on the ground has been able to confirm that. But if you look at all the smoke, you can tell they're having a hard time putting out the fire in that area. And you can tell just by looking at this building that that side of the building, the south side of these buildings, were damaged when the towers came down and collapsed earlier this morning. We walked around there because cameraman Alex Padilla had his car parked over there. We wanted to retrieve it to make sure there was no damage. There is at least a 5-inch layer of soot all over the ground over there. There were papers that were blown out of the building, strewn everywhere. Every car imaginable over there is covered with soot. Our car was covered fully.